conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
The reason why women's fashion have little to no pockets in their clothing is due to the fact that the fashion industry would lose money from bag and purse sales.
What's a
Katy Perry is not who she says she is.
Is the answer to one of the most brutal, unsolved murders of all time Katy Perry? Is she actually murdered child pageant star JonBenet Ramsey?
Well, blink twice if you're really JonBenet Ramsey.
Wait, no.
Theorist Dave Johnson started this conspiracy because he claims he knows from sources close to the crime that JonBenet, who happens to look a lot like Katy Perry, was never murdered and it was all a lie. The theory goes that JonBenet's parents faked her death and the ransom note because they wanted to get her away from the child pageant scene because she already had a few known creepy men fixating on her, P-words, and people trying to take advantage of her and wanted to use her talent and star quality when she was older. Even their parents look eerily similar if they just got older and aged a bit. How does this photo look like both of them at the same time? To throw people off her scent because Katy would insinuate that people would compare her to JonBenet when she was younger, she for some reason made it clear that she was no stage kid and JonBenet Ramsey wasn't waiting to burst out of her. They would both be in their 30s right now and they would both primarily sing Christian music, and a lot of people say maybe they can't find the culprit to the murder because it never happened. Before I share what Katy Perry has to say about this, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests you want to see next.
Blink twice if you're really JonBenet Ramsey.
Wait, no, that is not real.
I knew it. I'm taking it to TMZ.
You need the money or something? I mean, come on.
What? Hold on. Why they kill? Why they kill Kobe?
All right, I'm gonna tell you why they killed Kobe. No.
Why they kill Kobe?
You know why they killed Kobe?
Yeah.
All right. See, he had his daughter, right? He was gonna make them put up the wage. He was gonna make them put up the wage for WNBA. Because if he wanted his daughter to play, if they wanted his daughter to play, he was like, yo, you're not gonna pay my daughter that. So y'all gotta raise that. And the NBA don't like that.
He's gonna start his own league too. So that's why they killed Kobe.
Yes, bro.
He's about to raise.
He's about to do some whole other shit.
She was nice. So hold on. So they killed Kobe because he was gonna get a WNBA pay raise.
Yes, bro. Right. He's going against Whitey,
Kill
bro.
people for less, bro.
He's going against Whitey, bro. He's going against corporate America, bro.
And you said
people for less.
And you said dinosaurs ain't real.
NBA.
You said
no.
All right.
No
so look.
So dinosaurs never existed?
How we don't know?
Dinosaurs don't exist?
There was dinosaurs before humanity.
No, bro.
And when Jesus
dinosaurs could have been in the flood of Noah.
What?
How is no one talking about this? So the men pictured are part of the 1977 University of Evansville men's basketball team. The entire team was tragically killed in a plane crash. However, there was one lucky member of the team that couldn't go because he was sick. But guess what? 2 weeks later, he died in a car crash. This is really suspicious. And of course, I mean no disrespect to any of these people. How is no one talking about this?
So she knows that this is not Kanye. Kanye know that's not Kanye. This is a clone. He's so tall he couldn't even wear shoes. And if this is not Kanye, how is he going to visit his kids? So she knows that this is not Kanye. Kanye know that's not Kanye. This is a clone. He's so tall he couldn't even wear shoes. And if this is not Kanye, how is he going to visit his kids? So
I do not believe in a flat earth, so I thought this plane was going to fly up and over the ocean until I realized we were flying the path exactly. Why do planes travel this way? The shortest distance is a straight line. This is no straight line, but this is a straight line. Someone please explain this to me.
Here comes the truth about the moon landings.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Certainly.
Here comes the truth.
Have you heard the crazy conspiracy theory that with every massive stadium tour going on right now, that there are a lot of demonic messages being unwillfully taken in by the huge crowds every night? At Beyonce's Stadium Renaissance World Tour, there's a scary interlude that takes fans by surprise that begins with a portal hypnosis, as if to control you and draw you in. Then it gets scary when messages like, whoever controls the media controls the mind, pop up on the screen. Then it's terrifying when mind control messages pop up on the screen in between placements of Beyonce's face and a picture of a human in a submissive, worshipy pose, fans were saying they were getting so uncomfortable during this part they were looking away. Second, the known suspected Satanist The Weeknd was so shameless and blatantly, for no reason, flashed Satan's name on the Jumbotron at his stadium concert. He's not even hiding his affinity for Satan at this point. It actually flashed twice. I'm making sure that you saw it. Fans and viewers often said they felt very uncomfortable at his whole run of his stadium tour because the thing just felt like one big demonic ritual that they were forced to be a part of. Before I show you the scariest one, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about all your favorite celebrities and request who you want to see next. Lastly, there's literally a demonic chant screened by all the fans at the Taylor Swift Eras Tour during her song Willow, and they all yell, "Summon the demons."
Summon the demons, bitch!
Summon the demon!
They do this as Taylor is literally dressed as a witch with her whole coven, and there's a ceremonial huge fire in the middle of the forest. Does that remind you of anything? Or have you heard the
conspiracy theories?
Historians and researchers believe that Atlantis was a real place, a highly advanced society with impressive technology and culture. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato wrote about Atlantis in his dialogues, describing it as a powerful kingdom that existed around 9,000 years before his time. According to the legend, the city was situated on an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and was destroyed by natural disasters and catastrophes. There have been numerous archaeological discoveries and ancient texts that suggest the existence of a lost civilization with advanced knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. Some of these artifacts date back to the same period when Atlantis was said to have flourished. There is also many geographic and geological features that could match the description of Atlantis in Plato's account. So what do you think?
The scariest.
The darkest conspiracy theories. Benjamin Franklin has a disturbing secret that wasn't uncovered until 1998. You see, a team of renovators were working on Franklin's old house. And in the basement, they ended up finding over 1,200 human bones. Now, some people thought Benjamin Franklin murdered these people, but the actual explanation is a little less violent. You see, it turns out his home was used as an illegal anatomy school. Grave diggers would bring bodies to the house to be studied, and afterwards they'd just bury them in the basement.
Does anyone want to tell me how in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world, when the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA? Almost 40 years later? How did Universal Studios know?
This is a very disturbing story, but I want you to try to explain it to people, how people were dying in these hospitals and rats would eat the eyeballs of the people who were dying, and children who were starving would eat the rats. And then the children would die and the rats would eat the children.
One thing that I still remember is my sister and I was walking by the well. Like in North Korea, we don't have a switch, we don't have running water, obviously. We have to go to a well or river to bring the drinking water. And there's a young teenage boy, I think, lying down, and his intestines coming out of his back. When you're really malnourished, that thing all opens up. You got zero fat. Every hole all opens. And you see dogs looking at his organs coming out. And he was still somehow conscious, begging for food at the time.
He was begging for food while his organs were running out of his body.
Yeah.
This is a Jesus Christ, the Adam and Eve video. I watched a video on that this morning. There could be a time where the magnetic poles actually shift.
This is science. They say that the last one was like 778,000 years ago, and we're like something like 200,000 years overdue. But the Adam and Eve story, the theory of that is that it happens in cycles of 6,500 years, and that it's a 90-degree flip. But 6 days later, or on the 7th day, it corrects itself.
Planet flips.
Correct. It's a planet flip 90-degree, and that because of it, the Earth essentially does a standstill. The sun will be basically stay in the same spot, causing heating like we've never experienced, and that the wind and the waters continue with their momentum. Because essentially, the wind travels at approximately 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So the theory is that when that event happens, it's going to be cataclysmic. And
Jesus Christ.
Did you know that in reality, everyone is already dead? It's said that when a person dies, their brain stays alive for 7 long minutes. During this time, the brain recreates memories, replaying them in a dream state. The individual sees his whole life flash before his eyes. Time elapses differently when you're awake than when you're dreaming. 7 minutes can seem like 7 minutes, or a century. Stephen Hawking has said that when we discover the God particle, or the Higgs boson, as some call it, the end of the world could happen in a day, and in 2012, we discover it. And if the world really did end in 2012, and if it did happen in an instant, and we've all been living in our own consciousness ever since, perhaps that's why, since 2012, the world has seemed increasingly strange, unreal, and absurd, as if we are all stuck in a never-ending dream. Our perceptions of reality have become distorted, blurring the lines between what is real and what is imagined. It's a perplexing thought that leaves us questioning the nature of our existence and the true boundaries of our consciousness.
What is the next tallest thing we built? Stable structure after the pyramids.
What?
The Eiffel Tower.
Really?
Yes, late 1800s in Paris, the Eiffel Tower.
Huh.
That was the first stable structure we built as a civilization that was taller than the pyramids. So the Egyptians knew architecture. Those rocks are nowhere in the region. They found a place where those rocks were mined. And those are some big-ass rocks.
The thing about the pyramids that's so impressive is the precision and the sheer numbers. 2,600,000 stones.
Our best understanding of Stonehenge is that it's a functioning observatory that can actually predict eclipses. What is the next?
It took me 24 years to realize that the sharks were not the villains in Finding Nemo. In the beginning, you can see the sharks having an intervention. They all brought a friend to be a part of the no fish-eating community. Some conspiracy is going around saying that the little green fish was at the convention for the same thing. Notice how he leaves and the other fish don't stop him. If you paid attention towards the end of the credits, the little green fish ends up eating the angler fish. Some believe that the little green fish was there because he was having withdrawal of not eating other fish and needed the help. He never got it. What do you think?